Hello, Ralph Hennick, your Wellness and Fitness Director. And today we want to address strength training for tennis players. After the session on the court, in terms of conditioning yourself, particularly working on footwork drills and your anaerobic energy system, it is important to have a solid base. Solid base meaning that you have a strong body to support the activity on the tennis court. For that, we want to be in an environment like a fitness facility or place where you really could pay attention, your body in motion. Prefer working on body exercises, full body exercises, that is, because you're working the body as a whole on the tennis court, and therefore you want to have really focus as much as you can on the various body parts so they can work together and accommodate each other while in motion. Various aspects come into mind in tennis. Obviously, we want to work the body from the ground up. So therefore today you see me barefoot because I want to make sure that I'm really having my legs engaged, my feet engaged, my toes engaged. And then of course, you know, you want to make sure that all the other parts above there are involved as well. We also want to focus somewhat on injury prevention and address weak links. Often seen injuries in tennis: ankles, hips, back, elbows, and shoulders. So we will address all these weak areas and make sure that they're emphasized in the strength and conditioning program, and if we don't neglect them, so they are integrated into a complete, comprehensive workout session. And it doesn't have to be very long, the workout session, but it should be part of your trainings program 2 to 3 times per week. A particular preseason, you want to be more towards the 3 times per week session with 1 day of a break in between. And an in-season, you want to maintain your strength. And also these exercises, we're working around those weak links so they stay solid and supportive. That should be more than around 2 times per week while you're in season and playing tennis. Okay? Remember to do a proper warm-up. As a general warm-up, it would be more jump roping, jogging, along the line. Perhaps you want to even do some rowing, though I am not in favor of non-lower weight-bearing aerobic exercises because I want to make sure that the lower body stays strong and conditioned. But it is up to you, but then you need to also do some specific warm-up exercises, and we'll go right into that. Arms are very important to warm up. Circular motions are great exercise to get the shoulders and your shoulder girdle involved. Forward circles and back circles. Make sure that your thumbs are not in one position. They'll go up and back. So you internally and externally rotate your shoulders. They go internal here, and then also palms up, thumbs facing back, external. Focus on squeezing your shoulder girdle, your shoulder plates together behind you. That's your posterior shoulder girdle. And then of course we want to make sure that your arms can elevate very high above the head. And you want to maintain some good flexibility that way, but this is also a great warm-up exercise right there. because you really want to have not just strength for power development, for your serves, for your overhead smashes. You want to have flexibility as well as strength. And remember, strength is relative only. You need to have strength to support your body in motion, and then you need to work on the conditioning part. So don't think I need more and more and more strength. It's only for particular activity, or that much strength. The rest is flexibility and working actually with that strong body, and then get conditioned or actually work on your tennis-specific drills with your coach, or play tennis for that matter, okay? And one exercise here, the next one, it would be the bend overs. Really stretch and strengthen your lower back. Warm up the hamstrings, your glutes, all part of it. Right there. 10, 15 to 20 come to mind. Side rotation, side bends. Really get up nice and stretch those lats. When they get too tight, they won't be able to help you much because it limits your mobility. And you want to have good mobility on the tennis court, okay? Go, straight legs. And now I'm warming up the hip flexors, the quads. I'm also stretching my hamstrings. We're going to do some lunges. So we don't want to be going cold into these lunges. Yep. And your feet are warming up too. You're gripping the ground here. You're working the feet from the inside out. No support from sneaks. Or also don't wear socks. And keep your butt back behind. There you go. So you warm up those hamstrings a little bit more. You can bring your arms up a little higher. And just keep moving the whole body. Keep those core muscles fired up in here. This is a total body warm up. Move here, hamstrings. Good. And hip circles. Doesn't need to be strenuous. This is a warm up. Work on your breathing. And some knee circles, tiny little circles. And then we're going to get started, okay? So about 10-minute warm up should be plenty, okay? First one, I want to focus on your feet. One leg up, point flex. And this is already an exercise for the standing leg. It's weight bearing, so you're strengthening your ankles, your knees and your hips. And you're just loading up that one side here with your entire body weight. Okay? Point flex. Want to make sure the ankle is flexible or stays flexible, like so. Don't neglect the ranges. Switch sides. Now, big circles. Every action has a reaction, so that means whatever that foot is doing here, this one has to counter it with stability and support. 5 to 10 in each direction. These are non-intense exercises that can be done also, this particular ones here every day, just to keep your foot and your ankles ready for action. Could be used as a part of your strength training program, but also as a warm-up before running, before playing tennis. Okay, knee lifts, balance. After strength and flexibility training, next important aspect of functional moving is balance, and then of course coordination. That goes actually hand in hand. Here we have balance, but we don't really have any coordination yet. That would be something where your arms are doing something completely different. So we're doing a balance and coordination exercise while we are strengthening our standing leg. Okay, keep your abs nice and strong, your body nice and tall. Great. Okay, so first exercise would be a simple squat. You're hinging over your hips, you go down low, bring your arms up, and then go back down. All right, you can do that freestanding on the floor, but I prefer to bring in something a little bit more challenging, like either the Bosu here, and that could be done on one part of the Bosu here, or it could be done the other side of the Bosu, which one is a little bit more trickier to just get on and off, but it's possible. So you step on sideways, and then you redistribute your body weight over there, and now you can tell I'm a little more wobbly, and that will challenge my stabilizer. So I'm actually getting a lot more out of it than just a basic squat. Nice and deep squat here. Might be able to touch the floor or the rim, and then you go back up. So you want to be as straight as possible getting up and down, because we want to really focus on that three joint exercise. Hip, knees, and ankles are engaged here. Go up and down. It really is not about power right now. It's about strength development. So any of these moves we're doing today are done in a slow and controlled manner. All right? 10 repetitions are a great start with. Once you're done, you come off, rest about 30 seconds, and repeat. Now, if you're a beginner, you want to focus on really light weights, or perhaps even body weight, and then slowly progress with heavier and heavier weights to just kind of build a nice armor around your body, like a buffer zone. You don't want to be just strong enough to be able to carry your own body weight. You want to also have an extra cushion, which is working with an external force, like, for example, I'm going to pick up some dumbbells right now. These are 20 pounds in each arm, and now I'm adding 40 pounds to my body weight, which is about 20% more than what my weight is. 70, yeah, a little bit more than that. And but I'm used to lifting these weights, and therefore I'm not worried that I'm going to hurt my knees or my back. Keep your back nice and straight. 10 repetitions. Nice and slow. Remember, when you're slow, you're spending time moving that weight with your body up and down, forward and back, wherever you do. If you go slow, you're in control. You will not get hurt. Usually injuries happening with speed of movement. They're explosive, they're spontaneous, they're fast. You're overstretching a ligament or tendon, and that's the way you pull something. And that's why it's so important to be also flexible. Work on flexibility, work on full range of motions, no matter what you do. So you can have that flexibility when you need it and you're not pulling something. From here, we're going right into some bicep curls. And note that I'm actually rotating up, and then I am rotating all the way back, okay? So what we're calling this is pronating and supinating. You're twisting and turning, literally, the forearm around the elbow. And what that will do is strengthen the forearm muscles in both directions, and especially in and around your elbows. That's a form of exercise for injury prevention, so we don't see tennis elbows anymore. So twisting and turning in tennis is a common move around the arm, and here we are actually preparing the forearm with a strong grip to hold that racket, and then we're twisting forearm back. 10, 15, or 20 repetitions should be suffice. Okay? And we're going to go back into the second set of squats. So we'll do 2 sets today of each exercise. Abs nice and strong. Back straight. You hinge over your hips. And note that I am wobbling, which is actually good, because now my little muscles in and around my body are supporting me, the stabilizers, so I get a lot more out of that exercise than if I would be just on a firm floor. Okay? Bicep curls one more time with the rotation. Breathing. Keep your body in control, but it also, that breathing will help you to not just to manage energy, but it also keeps you sharp, focused. So keep breathing. Sit tall. Shoulders should be back and down, not slouched. Please don't slouch. You're already setting yourself up with slouch position for some possible injuries. Your shoulders are not aligned properly anymore. And so forth. Okay? You can move between 1, 2, or 3 sets. Today we're doing 2 sets on each of these exercises. Once you get a little bit stronger, you don't want to do is this. You want to rapidly build on adding more weight. You're better off doing some more sets or reps. Never do both at the same time more, and build slowly over time a nice strong armor, I call it. Okay, we put this down for a moment. Another great tool I use is the rock, it's called. It's a kind of a wobble board here. It's a little less stable than the Bosu. Just as effective. Great portable device if you travel, to put it in your luggage. It's called the rock. All right. And then of course, another favorite of my exercise is standing on one leg to really focus on your balance. All righty. You can do that. We go back just to the biceps curls. You can do the bicep curls on one leg. No. And on the Bosu as well on one leg, if you have that available. A lot more trickier, but it is possible if you practice a little bit to work on that as well. Just to show you as as an alternative, a little more of a challenge. And of course on the rock as well. Just make sure you center yourself over these devices evenly. These are great exercises to do for tennis. Good. We're moving into lunges, okay? Because, well, tennis is quite dynamic in nature, and there are a lot of lunge formations you will be doing on the court in many different directions, which with fast changes. But today, again, we will not work on the fast twitches. We want to focus on conditioning yourself, strengthening and conditioning yourself here, either with your weight, with body weight, or with dumbbells, which I prefer because they are a tool you can move around freely in space, and so there's not much limitation. That brings in some functionality and sport-specific applications. Okay. Here we have the BOSU, a forward lunge and back lunge. A forward lunge and back lunge. And note, you need to really be precise. And yes, it is wobbly, and yes, it is good. All right, keep your core strong. 10 reps. Nice deep lunge. If you can, challenge yourself. That's the key. Forward lunge. As you see, I'm getting lower and lower. 10 repetitions each leg. Nice and deep. And I love that instability, because it really keeps you sharp, keeps your body sharp, keeps your mind sharp. You have to stay focused. That's the wonderful thing about working out. You challenge yourself a little bit. It should never be boring. Never be boring. If you're bored, your body gets stale, your mind gets stale. You might as well sit on the couch and watch a show. You want, in a workout, you want to make sure that you stay focused on what are you doing at that moment, the task on hand, okay? And you're working the body from the inside out, and you're not distracted with loud music. It should be perhaps some background music if you like it, but more soothing, invigorating, but not loud and noisy. No distraction like your dog is running around or something like that, or you have little kids, toddlers around. This is just for you to improve yourself, okay? So we do that with the lunges, and now we're adding the weights. Now the weights actually can give you some counterbalance if you don't let them jerk you around. So with other words, make sure you have a nice strong grip, stay compact. Okay, that's the forward lunge, all right? And then of course we can do a split lunge here. That would be the next exercise. And you just basically go up and down. Challenge yourself, going straight up and down. So one foot is front foot, front leg is on top of the BOSU. And of course, if you don't have a BOSU, you do that simply like so, nice and deep, up and down. Keep your body nice and straight, nice and tall, okay? And that back knee should be getting close, if not even touching the floor. 10 repetitions, up and down, up and down, good, like so. And quickly you will feel those legs are working, feel a little tired at the end of the 10th repetition. Now if you feel like you can do some more, well, see where you can challenge yourself. where you feel like the muscle groups in motion are getting tired, push it somewhat more because you want to move out of the comfort zone, and then give it a rest for about 30 seconds, and then you repeat the exercise one more time. All right? We'll want to move also into the upper body. Very important, lots of stuff going on in tennis. So we need to have good strong shoulders, all right? But also flexible shoulders. That includes the rotator cuff muscles, okay? So what we're going to do is a little lighter weight for that, obviously, because of the long lever arm. And again, I like to prefer to be in one of these devices if you have it. Otherwise, try to do that all on one leg, because we want to translate that energy from the upper body. We want to transfer it into the lower body as well. So we don't want to train, because tennis is a full body workout, we don't want to really train isolated parts unless it's necessary to rebuild them because of an injury, or because they are so weakened that they can't do the job. So that would be more like a preventive way to build them up, like your rotator cuff, and then build them into the close kinetic chain, like the rest of the body combined. So here we do a front arm raises. You can start with both legs, and you want to make sure your forearms are nice and strong. You don't want to have the wrist hanging down like this. You want to make sure that you are having a nice extension, like as if you would do a punch, and then you lift the arm up like so, and about shoulder height. You want to bring your arms and your elbows shoulder height, and then you strengthen that way. You strengthen your hand, your wrist, your forearms, and those muscles. You can actually see here the muscles in and around the elbow, which actually will then protect you from getting injured. All right? So that lift up here will also somewhat tap into your rotators already, your rotator cuff muscles. So we're rotating slightly already. Just lift it over your shoulders, 10 repetitions, and then hold it for 10. Get a good feel for it. Make sure you don't jerk it up. Keep your weights close to your body. Shake it out. So you're working this part here from elbow to here mainly. That's the weakest part. Your little shoulders are usually a little stronger. So you will feel most of the fatigue in and around the elbow, but that's good. All right, because we want to build that up the area. So once you need it in a more dynamic way on the court, hitting, forehand, backhand, and so forth, spins, and who knows what else they do these days on the court, that you are ready for action. Up and down. That's it. Like so. I personally didn't have much time the last few years to play tennis. Occasionally our tennis director is putting me through some drills. I love it. But I'm ready for getting drilled on the court because I keep myself in reasonable good shape. Yes, I'm going to get out of breath. Yes, I might be a little sore, but I don't get injured. So without fear of, oh, can I do this or not, I can go out there and can hit the ball, even if I haven't played much in a few last years lately and so forth. Okay, this is one exercise, very important exercise, okay? External rotation. Here, up, hands up position like so, and bring it back down. Another exercise, working in and around your elbows, but now you're also getting your rotators, your rotator cuff muscles engaged. Okay, remember, serves, that all requires rotation. Power development is all about rotation. So we want to make sure we dress that around your arms and your shoulder girdle. And again, I told you earlier, I love to be doing this on one leg. So we're doing a strengthening exercise for your feet, your knees, and your ankles. You can do 10 on each side, and then switch. Or if you only want to do 10 in total, you do 5 and 5. And don't neglect that range. You want to stop here, because you want to bring it as far back as possible, so you rotate back to build that flexibility, that range of motion, which is needed for you to cock that arm behind you. Because the further you can bring back the arm, the more speed you can create and develop, and the more power you can get into your serves, your strokes, your overhead smashes. Okay, so we start behind and have that flexibility. Is just as important as just building strength. Okay, and we want to get the little muscles. The little muscles, like the rotator cuff, they are not doing big actions, but they're supporting big actions. And that's why it's so important, because they keep it all contained, stable, and strong. And therefore, it is important that we build that flexibility into strength training, and not just to move short, because it also builds, just creates some muscle boundness, stiffness, and that is really not what you need at all in tennis. Okay, strength, but also the flexibility equals mobility. Shoulder exercise continue. We want to have strong arms while they're fully extended. So we want to bring them all the way out, and they're going to be fully engaged. So arm raised to the side. And make sure your arms are completely straight, like so. You can see that, not partially, but because, again, you want to be able to have that long lever arm when you have to get into a drop shot, or when you do your strokes, your forearm strokes, or your backhand, that your arm can fully expand. And if you are in the gym, only do partially bring your arm out and build that strength, it won't have the ability to utilize that strength further out. It's very simple. So you want to kind of mimic some long lever arm, make it strong, at the same time keep it really engaged, flexible. So that's your side arm raises for 10. And then we definitely have to do the front arm as well. Make sure you don't slouch. You bring your arms out. People have a tendency to arch back. That is a no-no. That's a compensation you don't want to do. What I suggest always to my clients, that they should kind of brace themselves against a wall like so, and then from this position on now, you don't have that option to arch back. You lock yourself in, your feet are somewhat out in front, and you lift and you lower, and your arm is And you can really focus on straight arm movement without slouching on having faulty mechanics. Okay, so that's the front arm, the side arm, and of course we want to do the same thing for the back, because the deltoid here, the shoulder muscles, we have three heads. It's the front, the top, and the back. And we want to make sure the back is just as strong for your backhand, but also for good posture. So that is a little trick here, because what you have to do is, if you have dumbbells, you have to bow over your trunk, keep your back straight, then drop your arms, and then raise the arms out sideways without bending them. Okay? And of course the back muscles are typically not as strong, but they should be proportionately strong. In other words, they should be strong enough to give you the support they need, or you need, when you're moving around. And it starts with good posture, okay? But in tennis, you need the back muscles just as much as all the other muscles in the body, because they're all working together as a team, okay? So, over, arms out. And the way I like this format is that you do 10, 10, and 10. If you only want to do 5, front, and then side, or side, and then front, then the bend over, shake your arms out. You cover all the deltoid muscles, then you repeat for another set. Okay? The next exercise is going to be the tricep extension, and that is also simulating somewhat kind of your surf motions, and at least if it's not exactly the same, it is using the muscles in the same fashion. So what you do is you lift your elbow really high up here, you reach down behind you as you would scratch your back, right? And then you make sure your body is really solid here. So what I do is use my arm to rub it around. If you can't rub it around, just make sure it's all tight and strong. And then you reach up, lock your arm out, soft lock we call it. There's nothing wrong with a soft lock. And then bring it back down all the way and cover that full range of motion. See if you can do that. Start with somewhat lighter weight, 5-pounders. You might even have to start with a 3-pounder. More importantly is to keep that flexibility here in the shoulder girdle. Huh? You don't want to be out here doing this stuff. This is no. If you have to do something like this, the weight is just too heavy, okay? You can do this if you need to hold on, keep that arm up, but preferably I like you to keep your arm nice and extended and self-supported, we call it, self-supported, okay? Full extension. As soon as you're done here, do the same thing on that side, reach up nice and high. Keep the arm close to the ear. Yep, like so. And here you don't even need to wait after you have completed your set. You can move right into the other arm again because, well, that arm had a break, had its break, so to speak. Yeah. Same thing here again. Make sure you don't drop that arm, but you lower it. Remember, this is all controlled exercises, controlled moves, cannot get hurt. Because when you feel like, oh man, I can't get it up anymore, well, then you stop. You are bored. So that's the way you can stay injury-free Okay? And then we have a shoulder press, like so. And we want to make sure we start not in front of the shoulder with the free weights. Or if you, yep, right? You want to be on top and perhaps even a little bit behind. So you're really getting your body in a nice position. The ball sits firmly in the socket and then it goes up and down and up and down. Make sure as you go nice and high that your core muscles are really doing their job to keep you stable, strong underneath. Okay? That will help the balance aspect, but it helps you also to be nice and stable, not wobbly, and supported from underneath here. Okay? Shake your arms out. The best place is always bending over, like so, because the arms are not doing anything. They fully recover, they get to recover rather quickly. And then we'll do another set. Stick with the number 10 to start off with. You see how quickly now it smoothens up again, but it's also going to get a little faster, tired, but we want to push, remember. We do want to push. And lock those arms out above your head to get the elbow muscles to fire, the stabilizers. If you can get that all the way up there and lock the arms out, again, the weight, that's an indicator that the weight, well, I can't get that far. You want to get these muscles in the stabilizers to be part of it. And if you can't get that, well, the weight is too heavy. Okay? Make sure you fully engage it for flexibility, strength, and stability. So the small muscle groups, on the elbows, stabilizers, and around the shoulder girdle, well, they are engaged. They're included into the movement itself, not neglected or forgotten, because you need them on a tennis court. Now this is a nice little sample exercise routine for you to do. Don't neglect the little muscles in and around your joints. Too often they are being neglected because too often we want to build big muscles. They're only as effective as the little ones support them. So please be mindful of that, and then you will have not only a great season, tennis season, but you will be able to play tennis for a long time to come. Happy tennis.